Welcome to Aunty K's, your favorite radical queer indigenous auntie, bringing you tarot every day. Hello everyone, and welcome to Aunty K's Tarot. I am here today to do the St. Patrick's Day Tarot Tag, or St. Paddy's Tarot, a VR to cosmic lunar soul and a life full of simplicity. And I will link those there. I saw this on Robin's Reflections and I was like, well, I'm going to do this tag. I'm not Irish, but you know what? My second youngest was born on St. Patrick's Day. On his father's side, he's quarter Irish. His grandfather, his paternal grandfather, was Irish, and his paternal grandmother was Haudenosaunee. And so he was born on St. Patrick's Day during the Haudenosaunee ceremony of Sweetwater. We did name him after that ceremony. We did not name him after St. Patrick's Day, and his grandparents who were still alive at the time, the grandfather thought that was a little unfair, but I don't know. Patrick just didn't ring with any of us. So let's get into this prompt. All right. Oh, also I want to add, he does not enjoy having a St. Patrick's Day birthday, because living in a university town on St. Patrick's Day is not a day when you can do anything, when you can celebrate anything. As a child, we couldn't take him anywhere because, there was hundreds of students falling over, puking on the streets, drunk by 11 a.m. And as he gets older, I've had a friend who shares that birthday say, nobody's really there for your birthday. They're like, yeah, we're going to celebrate your birthday, but really they're just looking for an excuse to get drunk. So maybe when he's a grown up, it will be okay. Right now, him and his friends aren't drinking yet, so he's cool for a few years. Okay, so now let's get into this tag. End of the Rainbow. What deck did you have a hard time finding or tracking down? I've never really hunted down a deck to the point where I would say like it was this big thing. My general outlook is if I can't have something, that's okay, because there will come across my path something else that I really want. What I have done is spend hours tracking down. Sometimes what I have done is I have spent like days and weeks looking for a deck that had everything I wanted in it and then not finding it. So my solution was to make it. And so we got the Landback Tarot and Oracle of Colonization, which is out of print and probably classed as rare because there is like 325 copies. But when my files got corrupted a year and a half ago, it included the files for this. So the Landback Tarot and Oracle of Colonization was my solution. And then when I wasn't finding a Marseille deck that I wanted, my solution was the Marseille Prendre Vie. And that was my solution. I'm just going to make my own. And was it worth it? Absolutely. Because then I was like, okay, I'm going to make a Lenormand deck that has everything I want in it. And since then, I have created a playing card deck that's, I think, everything I want in a playing card deck. I'm going to test it out for a bit. Maybe there'll be things that I made or change about it. Folks on my Discord will have access to the prototype test copy that I'm testing, but question 2, pot of gold. When you found the deck, was it worth the quest? When I found the deck within myself and then created it, that was 100% worth the quest. Shamrock Shake. I'm not allowed to eat at work. I'm not really even supposed to drink at work, but that's not possible when I'm talking all evening. So I'm most frequently drinking French vanilla coffee, sugar, no dairy, or a hot apple cider. So that would be my Shamrock Shake, and it's a shake, so it's a drink. All right. Do you own a rare OPP deck? So not on purpose, and my Landback Tarot could have fit here, but I saved up to get, let's shrink back in again. I saved up to get Grandma Baby's Black Gold Lenormand because it was expensive for a Lenormand deck. And so I saved up for it. And it's out of print now because it appears that supporting BIPOC authors was a fad, and Black authors Black creators have been hit the hardest, and keeping up an Etsy page and in the printing, staying in business wasn't really an option, and that's why this deck is now out of print. And I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful. I got it. Well, I still had the chance. I went back to the shop when I heard it was closing, but I was too late. I got the message too late. And yeah. So this deck is now very precious. And I think when BIPOC creators create something exclusively about who they are and their people in a way that other folks don't necessarily understand, don't relate to, isn't the Blackness or the Indigenousness or the Asianness or the Arabness that the dominant culture was looking for. It becomes even harder for that creator. So those are my thoughts. This is my Leprechaun, and I'm so thankful to have it and support BIPOC creators. Okay. 4 Leaf Clover, a deck you thought would be just another deck, but turned out to be something great. Rustic Roots Lenormand. It wasn't everything I was looking for in a Lenormand deck. I was looking for a Lenormand deck with inserts, and I always am. It tells me, but it's not quite the same. It does go red to black, which I do find helpful. I really love the color palette, and I thought that was great. And this deck is, it's created pretty local to me. A lot more local to where I used to live when I was in like Bancroft and Maple Leaf. So this deck looks like home to me. Okay. and it feels like home to me. And it has become one of my most favorite decks because of that. I love this card as a ring. So this is the only thing that doesn't look like anything around where we live, because where we live, there's no real mountains. There's, you know, large hills, very large hills that can be rocky and stuff, but we don't have mountains. But I think the guidebook might have said where it was. I think it's out west. I mean, of course it's out west, but I think it's like a known location. So I really love this deck. I love the plaid. You have an option of a man-woman card or a person and seeker card. And the man-woman cards are great. They're beautiful. But having a person seeker card is much more practical. And that's the way to do it. I love it. And I adore this deck. Okay. So, Irish whiskey, a deck that's always a party. Okay, folks, like, this was hard because I took out two because I was like, am I just going to show this? Okay, so this is the food tarot. I have to do this. No, I love using this deck as like a 3-card oracle reading. And it can be really fun and really hilarious. And like, you know, you're just pushing for that intense committed relationship right now. And it's a lot of pressure because they don't want to rush. They've been hurt before. They want to move through this gently. So it's so funny. It's not a real tarot deck. Like sometimes the images kind of remind you of something specific and it looks like it fits whatever it is, but like this, right? 5 of drinks looks like the 5 of cups, but also a lot of them don't, right? So this one works. The duo works for justice here. But then there's some where it's like, did you mean something? Oh, it works for justice. And because of that, I always read the Roman numeral as 10-1, but it's 110. So it's actually 9, which, you know, so it's not a real tarot deck. But if you just want to read it like an oracle deck with these images and the titles, and you're a fairly creative person, you can totally do it, and it's a lot of fun. So I thought I was going to show another deck, so I just will quickly. I mean, this already breaks all the rules. So Vivid Kingdom is a playing card deck, and I've come to have fun with it. Oh, cool. Here's a reading I did the other day. You know, it's a breakup, but they're still throwing volleys out there, fishing at the other one. And the client threw, you know, a pretty harsh attack that finally hit home, and he's going to throw some back. But 6-4, the client is going to win this showdown. And so it's a pretty fun deck. I have to say it is fun. All right, Rich Heritage. What deck in your collection has so much depth to it, whether with art, guidebook, or the readings? Okay, I struggled with this because as far as I'm concerned, the depth has more to do with how the reader connects to the cards than with anything else. Okay, some decks are just crap, but like, if this was supposed to be a real tarot deck and the major arcana number 9 looked like justice, you know, you'd say that's a garbage deck. But it wasn't designed to be read as a tarot deck, and it's all me that makes it work, right? So I struggled with this a bit. Any deck that I connect to has depth to it. Come on. So I'm going with the Africa Tizama Tarot. It's new, so it's freshly on my mind. This whole packaging, it just fits rich heritage with the words being what it is. It's a deck full of heritage, and it's created in a way that's like gorgeous. Like, this deck was over $100 for me, and I have a few decks that are, and all of them are, except for one, was worth it, because except for one, I loved them all. I loved them. And I was happy to pay extra for the benefit of the artist. It's possible the artist has extra benefit with who, you know, this has been created by and through, based on what I read in the guidebook. But also, this was worth it on an artistic standpoint. From the velvet bag to the box. The book is very nicely done. I don't think it says anything super special, but the presentation made the deck worth it, and I don't think a $100 deck has to be about the presentation, because I'm into paying indie artists. But like, the presentation of this is fantastic, and the execution of this as collage, because I know what I'm looking at, the beauty of it is gorgeous. All those people who think that having old-fashioned pictures is an excuse to have an all-white deck, or a mostly white deck with a few really problematic token pictures, this deck calls you a liar. I love this deck. It's worth every penny of it. It definitely fulfills rich heritage, literally, and the presentation is astounding. I almost put this as prompt 1, End of the Rainbow, because I didn't have to hunt this deck down, but I had to save up for it, which often means I have to convince myself I should save up for it. So it sat on my wish list for a long time. But that was me. But anyway, so those are my St. Paddy's Day decks. Hope you enjoyed.